Hey there, high tide traders and investors. It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Also, home to the best MJ community. It is Monday, June 10th. Hope you're doing well and hope you had a great weekend. And in this video, we're going to be discussing High Tide. We're going to take a look at their upcoming Q2 2024 earnings estimates. So if you're not familiar with these new videos, essentially we just go over all of the analyst estimates to get a rough idea of what to expect, and then we can see whether or not they miss or beat, and we'll take a look at the technicals and what to expect in terms of price action leading up to today and in the days, weeks, months ahead, and see if there's any clues that we can find out on best to prepare for these earnings. Before we get to it though, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me in the channel. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff, and you'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. As always, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. You should never buy or sell anything based on anything that I say or write. And I am not a financial advisor. As I mentioned, it's entertainment purposes only. Full disclosure, I do own the stock as well. Very bullish on it long term. And you can follow us over on X as well, formerly Twitter. The handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. And speaking of which, I did ask a pretty interesting question today to X's Grok, their AI chatbot, similar to ChatGPT. I asked it, which companies have the potential to reach blue chip status in MJ? So if you haven't seen that, you can check that out. But the responses were interesting. They seem to be focusing more on producers. So High Tide not being a producer didn't actually make the list. But let me know what you think of that in the comment section below. Do you think High Tide deserves to be on the list and one of those companies that could potentially reach blue chip status? I know that Raj Grover said that he potentially might, kind of entertain the idea of becoming a producer and buying a producer at one point or another. More than likely going to be after, things kind of after the dust settles, so to speak. And we know that Germany is looking to fast track Pillar 2, which would really benefit companies like High Tide because that's for profit in that second pillar in that phase 2, right? So that would be huge for the company, and they're just rolling out stores one after the other right now. It seems like every day they're opening up a new store in Ontario because they're doubling their store count from 75 to 150 after the regulations changed there in Ontario. But let me know what you think of that video and that list there from Grok. But I think High Tide should definitely be on there. But like I said, it's focusing mostly on the producers. Interesting that Canopy or SNDL weren't mentioned either. But curious to hear your thoughts. We'll go through, just as a reminder, the earnings is for the quarter ended April 30th, 2024. And that'll be after market close on Thursday, June 13th this week. And then after that, on Friday in the morning, they'll be having a conference call. So that'll be at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. And that's going to be with Raj Grover, the founder and CEO. I'm actually working on getting an interview with Raj as well, hopefully sometime after their earnings. I know he said he's very busy, and we're going to try to work something out, see if it's a good fit. Hopefully I can hear back at some point in the next month or two, but let me know in the comments section below if you'd be excited to see a Pow Group interview with Raj Grover and High Tide. And if you have any preferred timing, in the next month or two, definitely want to get it after the earnings release. But let me know if you have any questions as well. I've already got quite a few questions myself, and I'll be jotting down quite a few more. And like I said, reach out to the community as well to see if anybody does have any requests. Taking a look at the estimates here, so they are forecasting 127.5 million, and that seems to be the consensus across the board. 127.5 million on investing.com. If we take a look at TradingView, and that's Canadian, same thing, 127.5. And then if we take a look at Moomoo, which has analysts, 4 analysts here, financial estimates from 4 analysts, they're saying again 127.5. EPS, they're forecasting negative 0.015 USD, which is very similar because they're forecasting negative 0.017 Canadian. So pretty much the same. And then if we take a look at investing.com, it's negative 0.0167. So we can pretty much say negative 0.017 is the analyst estimate there. And they're still expecting a small loss. But you can see here, they've just been beating an absolute machine with regards to beating estimates. It's just been up and to the right here in terms of revenue growth. And this is what you want to see, right? You want to see continued revenue growth and up and to the right numbers, but eventually it has to wane and it's going to come down at some point more than likely. And you can see over the last couple of quarters, we have been coming down a little bit. We hit that 139.43 million a couple quarters ago. That was very impressive, but back down to 128.07 million. And they forecasted 127.68 million. This time they're forecasting lower than the estimate last time, which that's the first time in a very long time, if ever, actually, it looks like. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah, each time it's been up. So they are forecasting a slight downtick in terms of this quarter coming up versus the last quarter estimates. So who knows? Maybe this is the first quarter in how many quarters? Like 10 that they miss in terms of analyst estimates. So we'll see. But as of right now, the stock looks very strong. But we'll be taking a look if it comes in at 137. Well, that'll be a big beat in revenue, and if they come in flat or positive, that'll be a big beat in terms of earnings per share or EPS, and then we can expect the stock to respond bullishly, right? But if it comes in a big miss, and those are the numbers to be looking at, then we could potentially be seeing some downside from there. And it all just depends on how much is of a surprise, how much did we beat, how much did we miss, how much, have we run into the earnings as well? If we run for super bullish leading into the earnings and, we're up, a substantial amount in terms of price over the last couple of weeks, and then we have bad earnings, well, it wouldn't take much of a bad reaction to see that downside ensue, right? So as of right now, it's looking quite strong at the moment. We're in daily uptrends. It is a potential daily head and shoulders here, though, with the left shoulder, the head, and a potential right shoulder. So we have to be cognizant of that. Key support is going to be there at 244. If we do lose that, we'll just get a rough estimate here on what we could potentially expect for that. So let me just get rid of this. So if we go from the high to the low there, I just noticed that, so I would have had it done. But just a rough idea, down around 220. So if we do have that right shoulder form, then we could be seeing around 220, and that would more than likely be on a negative reaction to earnings. In terms of US, it was 92.542 million and negative 0.012. And then if we take a look at the weekly time frame here, we're in a very strong uptrend as well. Monthly uptrend, we're in a monthly uptrend as well. And we're gearing up for the first ever monthly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross. And it's very close. It's more than likely going to be, I would say, a couple of months. And again, I've been saying for a while now that I think that, leading into July 22nd, which is the end of the comment period for rescheduling in the US, I think we could see, just sideways action, maybe a little bit more weakness and pain, short-term pain. And then into end of July, into August, we should start to see prices recover, and I think it's going to be a positive outcome. There was over 11,000 public comments. 97% of them were positive, right? I think rescheduling is going to happen before the election. It pretty much has to, right? Or it's a political death sentence to those that got put in office that were pro-MJ, and if they get nothing done, then probably not going to be good for the polls, right? So they're going to want to get that done at the very least, in my opinion. Then we could see banking uplisting to U.S. major exchanges, Germany fast-tracking. We have Florida. There was news out that 66% of respondents are likely to, that they said that they would vote in favor of. So it's very likely that we see that approved, in my opinion. I'm putting at an 80% plus chance at this point. Then we have Ohio coming online, Pennsylvania. We have New Hampshire looking to become the 25th state, and then Florida potentially the 26th. So lots to look forward to here. And then, like I said, Germany fast-tracking Pillar 2. That'll be a huge win for high tide. But I'm expecting massive upside here into the end of the year, and then we can more than likely see, this week is FOMC rate decision. I don't think they're going to lower. The consensus is saying an overwhelming, I think it was like 96% chance that they're going to keep it paused. We know Canada and the ECB just cut rates for the first time in over 4 years, but I do think that the most likely scenario is that the US pauses, and then there's another meeting in July. I'm not expecting rate cuts then. I think the most likely scenario is we get in September, just before the elections. And then that would send the market into full-blown euphoria and full send mode, right? So I think that is the most likely scenario as we get those tailwinds as well for the broader market, which would be great for high tide and into the end of the year. And like I said, this chart's looking uber bullish at the moment on the weekly time frame. We're seeing the stochastic and the MACD super bullish as well, going parabolic here on the weekly time frame, well above the 10-week moving average. We do have the 200 weekly there at 335. So that will be the next major level of resistance. We do have the previous high there at 257, I think it was. Let me just check here. No, 285. Yeah, so 285 was the high. After that, we're looking at 335 as the next major level of resistance, and we're above all of our daily moving averages as well. So very strong chart. Definitely one of the only MJ charts at the moment that are standing out. Like I said, it's in a monthly uptrend as well. So this is looking great over the next couple of months, we could see a little bit more pain, in my opinion. And then into the end of the year and second half here, like I said, into end of July, August, we should start to see prices recover. And then into the fall, I think we're going to see this kick into high gear, no pun intended. But like I said, that first ever monthly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross as well is super exciting to be looking at. And if we get over that 285, like I said, next major level is at 335. And then in terms of price action, we have nothing all the way up till 589. And then the all-time high there at 1329 USD on the NASDAQ. And if you're wondering, where could this potentially go in the future? Well, it's one of the fastest growing companies in Canada, and they're the largest. I think there's more. They're the largest non-franchised retailer in Canada, and I think there's more MJ shops in Canada than there are McDonald's. So let that sink in. If you're here in Edmonton, Alberta, there's more MJ shops and dispensaries than there are like convenience stores. So it's pretty crazy to see. And like I said, they're doubling their store count in Ontario as well. But if we just go from our high to the low here, assuming this is our bear market low, and we're going to start trending back up to all-time highs and new all-time highs, blue sky breakout, etc., and price discovery, then what you usually do is you take your swing high to swing low, and you take your fib tool, and then you get your fib extension levels. So something that's very common is the 1.618 and the 2.618. Sometimes even the 3.618, not as common, but generally in a new bull market, you can expect the 1.618 and somewhere between, the 1.618, the 2.618, in that range right there to act as a new area of interest in a new all-time high in price discovery. And if that were to happen, the 1.618 would bring us just north of $20 USD, and the 2.618 would be $32, just under $33. So in my opinion, in the next bull market, I think HITI could easily reach that $20 to $30 mark. In the next few years, I would say in the next 5 to 10 years, this could easily be a $50 to $100 stock. I think it's extremely undervalued at the moment. And like I said, with the amount of catalysts upcoming, especially Germany too, a lot of people thought that was going to take multiple years for Pillar 2. And I'm in the camp of thinking that it's going to be a lot sooner than later. So I'm excited for the earnings. I'll definitely be doing an earnings review call. And like I said, going to do my best to get Raj on the channel and have him on for an interview. And yeah, I know a lot of people have been asking for that. So doing my best to, kind of make that happen for everybody. So going to end it there. It's Rod with Powell Group. Thanks again for joining us in the Pursuit of Wealth. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this estimate. Do you think they're going to beat or miss going into the upcoming report? All right. Have a great night. We'll see you again in the next video.